Hello everyone, and welcome back to Doomlink's Live Hunts. We have returned to Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. Of course, I did do 2 recordings in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, which pleases some people. I don't think it displeases anyone, but it certainly pleases certain people. And at least one of my viewers actually prefers it when I record Generations Ultimate, and by the sounds of it would be quite content for me to only record Generations Ultimate. But of course, as far as I'm concerned, it's a little bit repetitive and boring to only do Generations Ultimate, or even to do it frequently. So, after 2 recordings of Generations Ultimate, I am back in Freedom Unite, and yeah, I don't really want to make it a back and forth between Generations Ultimate and Freedom Unite the whole time. I do need to actually get back to 3 Ultimate. I haven't recorded that recently. But I think it's because the time zone difference is less favorable these days, so yeah, I think when daylight savings time is in effect in my country, it happens to be better. So anyway, of course I do want to do some Monster Hunter Freedom 1 for reasons that I have already outlined in previous recordings. I can't remember which one it would have been, it was only one, but yeah, I did mention it. Basically there is a patch out which completely alleviates the really awful input detection with controllers while playing that game. And yeah, it makes me want to play more Freedom 1, but unfortunately there aren't many people playing, so yeah, that is actually causing me to be unable not only to record it, but play it in my own time, and it's a bit of a shame. What I've been playing in my own time is Monster Hunter DOS. I've been putting a lot of hours into it, just over the last few days, I suppose for the last 7 days, we'll say. And as a result, I am accidentally pressing R2 when I really should be pressing R1 for a lot of my actions. It's things like running and, I suppose, switching through pages in the box, for example. Oh my god. Now, of course, the only reason why that happened, first of all, I'm shocked by the amount of damage this monster's doing, but second of all, the only reason why I was killed there, and I'm sure you can all vouch for me on this one, was because I didn't think that he was beginning a running animation. He was lagging so much on my screen that I didn't identify that there was a risk. By the time I had realized it, I was dead. So, oh, whoops, fucking hell. Don't know how I managed to press that button. But yeah, that, to be honest, is one of the worst starts to a confrontation I've had on camera in a long time. But I'd like to think that you can all forgive me for that one. That was awful. Now that I know that the monster's lagging that much, I will take greater care when engaging the monster. I will watch and wait instead of, you know, jumping in there and then, I suppose, quickly reacting to the situation as it unfolds. Because the thing is, when you throw yourself into danger and then force yourself to react within a short space of time to whatever the monster's doing to keep yourself safe, that is all well and good when you have a perfect connection or you're playing offline, but that is clearly not what's happening here. Whoever the fuck is hosting this monster really shouldn't be hosting this monster, so that means I have to keep away. We've got flash bombs going out, and now we've got Tigrex stuck in the wall. I'm not going to go for the face because I would like to start attacking as soon as possible. You can see what I mean there. The beginning of that animation was so delayed that, you know, it can take you by surprise. May as well get one cheeky hit on the face there. But yeah, it's so frustrating when you go from a PS2 Monster Hunter back to PSP Monster Hunter because you end up pressing all the wrong buttons, particularly the change between, or the change from R2 to R1, so world players who, oh my fucking god, whoever is hosting this needs to just leave the area immediately. This is unacceptable, because it's the kind of lag which makes you think you're safe like that. See, he began an animation, and you know how long that animation's going to last, and he just skipped through it. He snapped out of that animation and began doing something else, so, you know, that's the whole purpose to learning how to fight a monster. It's being able to predict what they're doing, but then it's impossible to predict them when they're like this, so this is fucking terrible. I need to figure out who actually hosted and get them to leave. Unfortunately, I disabled the chat for reasons that I needn't explain again. Under these circumstances, I am perfectly content to flash bomb spam this monster, because even with poor connection, that at least is predictable. I know that the monster's going to be stuck in place with a flash bomb. And I'll let him roar, and then I'll go for that face again. Fuck. Managed to just get it out in time. It, of course, referring to my shield. Oh, fucking hell. Like, you check the chat for half a second and you're getting run over. Because, again, he's just skipping through animations, and the reason why is because there's such a discrepancy between my connection and whoever the host is that the only way for the hunt to really work on my screen is if the monster's just skipping through everything. So, yeah, that's pretty bad. That was actually me trying to run away from the monster to heal, but then I realised that I was holding R2, which doesn't work. If you want to know why I don't just swap R1 and R2 here in the control mapping, the reason why is because it's not the same. The action of R2 is actually different in PS2 to what it is here. Some actions are on R1 and others are on R2. So for instance, you would shield with R1 and then run with R2 when it comes to PS2 controls. So that's why I can't just remap it. It's different. Oh my god, shut up. I should put a trap down. Oh, I don't have a trap. Very well. This is dangerous business. If we get through this hunt, I will be surprised. Do we have a new host? It's looking a bit smoother now, isn't it? I wasn't even paying attention at all, as far as who was entering the room first, so... Yeah, for all I know, maybe I'm the host now. I fucking hope I am. It's looking better, isn't it? Of course, this means that whoever was hosting is now going to be experiencing the lag that I was just experiencing, but I don't really take issue with that, because if you're the one with the shit connection, in my opinion, you should be the one to suffer, not everyone else. At that point, the solution is to either put up with it, play offline, or get better internet. I mean, those are your options. I don't think forcing everyone to endure your shit connection is a good option to take. I don't think that's even on the table. Got a lot of Velociprey around. Well, white Velociprey. Someone's going to say, it's Geoprey. Well, depends on the game. White Velociprey, man. Never forget. Get that cheeky hit on the face again, and he's leaving already. Again, I need to be onto it here. I have to be the host. I can't possibly allow... Oh, fuck, he's going north. You stay right where you are, fuck. Keep your fucking bad internet to yourself. Well, at least I have another name to refer to this person other than Russia, because that's just weird. For a second I thought he was going into a rock throw attack, but actually he was flinching, which I'm pleased to see. Is it advisable to use a sword and shield when you're only hunting with 3 people? Probably not. Because when you're hunting with 3 people it becomes more... or rather the damage that you deal is more relevant than it would be if you were hunting with 4 people. My point being that sword and shield is fairly underpowered, but it's still intensely fun to use, so... Yeah, the enjoyment that I get out of using it really just trumps the fact that it causes the hunt to be a little slower. Oh. I need to get a hot drink on the go. That's my third hot drink because I did die, unfortunately. That's a good flinch. Oh. Was so damn close to being able to catch that. Incredibly close. I have had to heal a lot, unfortunately, but quite obviously the majority of those heals were during the period where the monster was literally teleporting and skipping through animations, and not just skipping through them, but outright changing them. You know, he begins doing one thing and then snaps into something else. And the reason why is because, you know, when the monster isn't doing anything, it sort of goes into a neutral animation. Like, for Tigrex, it's standing still and snapping his jaws. Well, if he's standing still and snapping his jaws when I'm having connection issues, that may just mean that the game's in the process of catching up to what the monster's doing, so he may just snap out of that neutral animation and, I don't know, be running at me. It's terrible. Alright, so my first guess is that the person with the shit host is Fock. That's going to be my first guess, or it could be Mina because he's watching my live stream. I don't know. All I know is that I'm going to do my best to be the person hosting as we go forward. I will inform the team. Actually, I feel like I need to narrow it down so I can tell someone specifically to not come in, because, or not be the first person. Now, again, I don't know if any of you are keeping track. Maybe the only person who's really keeping track at this point would be Peaberry. Do you recall Peaberry when I said that almost every time I hunt Tigrex, no matter what game it is, I always get his rare item? I don't know what it is about Tigrex. I mean, you will find that this is the case the longer that you watch me and the more consistently you watch me. Every fucking time I hunt Tigrex, it's always me being showered with his rare materials. It's strange. He's my lucky monster. I'll never understand it. Anyway, the point that I was trying to make before I got that heavenly scale was that, yeah. No, I don't mean that. I mean, recognize the fact that I get that item all the time, and that I'm consistently getting the rare materials of Tigrex. But yeah, I need to actually identify who is causing the network instability and tell that person not to enter the area first, rather than just tell everyone to let me enter first, because that's a little more awkward. Who is Uragon again? I forgot. Let's find out. Okay, so Fock is leaving anyway. It is May, that's right. I now certainly remember that. Let's find out what our next hunt is going to be. Yes, I certainly one-shot him. That's definitely what just happened. I did not mean to do that command twice. Let me just delete those. Hold on. Alright. I meant to do random hunt. What have we got? Oh, gross. Pride on the line. Black Diablos, Black Gravios, Nargacuga. Why? What a shitty quest. It's an epic hunt, I think. So, that's curious. Pride on the line. I'd just swallow my pride and choose another quest. No, I will do it, but this is not what I would call a fun quest. Mainly because it features Diablos. I'm just not in a Diablos mood right now. Teach me how to one-shot. Well, what you do is you imagine in your mind, when you deliver the killing blow to the monster, that you hadn't just spent the last 8 to 10 minutes hitting the monster repeatedly, and you just convince yourself that actually that final hit was the very first hit. And yeah, you'll become excited, delighted, and then, I don't know, you can continue living your life as a lie. I probably want to use something ranged, don't I? Common elemental weakness. Perhaps water? No, not really. No, probably not. Water would probably be effective for both Diablos and Black Gravios, but don't think Nargacuga takes much damage from water. So what I'll do is I will go for something raw focused. I would obviously rather go ranged, so how about this? I will use my tried and true Black Diablos bow. No, I don't want to use that, because, to be honest, Pierce is almost okay for Diablos, but I do not want to use Pierce for Nargacuga, so I won't do that, after all. Fuck, what should I do? Do I have an ESP set at all? I don't think I do. I don't think I have a single set with ESP, which is shocking. Ugh. Because, you know, I would pair perhaps a poison weapon with ESP to go up against Black Gravios, but no, I don't have that on hand right now. Ugh, what a conundrum. What do I do? I suppose I could use the Exterminator bow, but I don't want to. None of this is appealing to me. You know what? This is the issue. I'm trying to find an appealing weapon to use during a quest which I find to be unappealing, and none of this is going to make it fun. So I don't really know what to do. I mean, I could use Sea Abyss. Yeah, let's use Sea Abyss. That's a good idea. And I'll tell you why. It's not going to be a purely elemental damage sort of setup if it's a gun lance, so let's do that. Wait, what does... I don't fucking know what I'm doing with myself. Let's just keep with this. I want to equip Sea Abyss. I want to eat, obviously, and then we'll fucking join the room, because this has taken me forever. I've never... Oh, I've already eaten, of course. I've never felt so... indecisive while setting up for a quest, at least not recently. Alright. Where's May? Did he get bored of waiting? He hasn't commented about leaving because he didn't want to wait, so whatever. What have we got here? That's not the one. Pride on the line. It's in the fucking arena. Should I be prioritizing May here? Ugh. I'm gonna ask him if he's still hunting. And if so, I'm gonna have to let these people know that there isn't an open space. Discord capture. I know it looks like Mel, but again, it's an uppercase I, so people think it's Mel, but it's actually May. So... fucking tired. If I don't get a response, and I'll be departing. Mina is using a hunting horn. I was actually considering using hunting horn, but I thought we had 3 people, so I wasn't going to do that. It turns out we have 4. I thought it's not full, my bad. That's obviously one of our 4 hunters. At this stage, I'd reckon this Mume person may as well come back. Here we go. May is typing. That's not a fucking answer. Just respond to the question that I asked. Don't give me a crying cat emote. What the hell? It's about the best that I can hope for when it comes to interacting with this person, though. For fuck's sake, there is a room of people, and I am delaying things because I'm trying to be accommodating to you. I am trying to be accommodating to the person who joined first, left without saying anything, and was thoroughly uncommunicative when I'm trying to, you know, ask if they're hunting. For fuck's sake. I'm not even going to respond to what he said. Let's just hunt with 4 people and get going. Gives me that stupid big smile emote in response. It's like, fuck off. I'm wasting my time waiting for you. A bit of communication goes a long way in multiplayer. Alright. I'm hoping this is 1 at a time. If it's not 1 at a time, I'm gonna cry. Because I don't want to deal with... Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, I was gonna say... Why on earth is there no space for paintballs? Well, it's because I've got 99 of them. There you go. That is a habit. I always pick up the paintballs. Because I'm too lazy to combine for them. Yeah, wind reduce. Hello, it is 1 at a time. And to think I was dreading this quest. Oh, what an excellent flash bomb. Inspiring. I was running for quite some time before that monster popped out, and he still fucking got me. Or she still got me, whatever. I forgot my sonic bombs, as I always do. Did anyone bring them? Don't know. Probably not. Someone brought flash bombs though, only to squander them, as we have seen. This is a good opportunity for a wyvern fire. That was extraordinary timing on that wyvern fire. Didn't manage to detonate that bomb. But this guy decided to detonate himself anyway, so it actually wouldn't have changed things all that much. There we go. I probably should be aiming for the horn as well. God's sake. If you're hitting me because you're hitting the head successfully, I don't mind, but if you're hitting me while missing the head, I will struggle to accept that. I'll go away. I feel really out of sorts with Gunlance right now, I don't know why. My head is in 4th gen Gunlance for some reason. Or 3rd at least. Whoever is currently responsible for these flash bombs, I am thus far completely disappointed. Go on, throw on now. Do it. I'll be keeping an eye on my Wyvern Fire recharge. Good timing. Like, I'm sorry, but on what fucking planet would that flash bomb have connected? Okay, to start with, she was digging, sorry. But most importantly, was facing in the opposite direction, literally the opposite direction to where the flash bomb went off. So I really don't know what this person is playing at. Maybe they're just throwing the flash bombs for fun, not with any intention of them working. For God's sake. Just shocking. Oh, no comment on that tail swing. No comment whatsoever. Self-explanatory. Alright, very good. Both horns are broken. I don't necessarily need any horns, but my general motto is that a Diablos confrontation where both horns are not broken is a wasted confrontation. A waste of a hunt. I'd like to get into the chest area, but I don't think I'm going to make it. Oh. Ugh. Conservative attacking is necessary with the gun lance so that you have enough time to shield. As we all know, it's not the most mobile weapon. And that's a dead Diablo. Very good. And I have another Wyvern Fire. Here I am using potions when I'm actually carving mega potions. Alright, well that guy's thrown about a lifetime supply of flash bombs at the anus of the monster. So, we'll see what happens with the next monster. So Gravios will be flying down from somewhere. Not sure precisely where he's going to be flying from, but it is always fun to watch a Gravios fly around, because it makes no sense. He's far too heavy to be supported by his wings, so it's enjoyable to watch. Well, that's certainly what it felt like, P-Berry. Alright. Should be flying in from somewhere. Hello? The Diablos has despawned. Where is he? Weak is pinging for something, I don't know. There he is. Maybe he's been flying this whole time, like from the moment Diablos despawned, he began flying from some location. Alright. Well, we've got a problem because he's landed quite far from the trap and there's every likelihood that we're going to get a big laser beam destroying the bombs before he ends up in the trap. Let's see what our luck is like today. Who could have fucking guessed? Apparently I don't have guard up. Oh my fucking god. Ugh. I'd like to think it's quite clear why I did an advancing attack there. Fucking hell. Now obviously I'm not going to blame the trap placement too much for the failure to detonate on target, because I wouldn't have been able to place the trap correctly either. I had no idea where he was going to land, so yeah. I'm not going to be playing the blame game here. But you know what? No matter what, I'm in a better position than week 777, because I'm not using fire dual blades on a Black Gravios, so there you go. Alright, Wyvern Fire. Well, that was very good. That was some good flash bombing. I don't know if that's the same person who's been throwing the flash bombs hitherto, but fucking hell, that's quite a difference in effective throwing of flash bombs. Oh god, get your fucking tail out of there. Excuse me, I'm hitting the chest, which is supposed to be soft, and I have fucking white sharpness. What's going on? You absolute irritant of a monster. Yeah, whatever. The forward motion of the fucking head hit me. I hate Gravios. Alright, is this part soft? No, it's not. Literally, if I have white sharpness, too bad. That's it. I'm in the position. Oh god, that's right, I don't have guard up. Why not? Fuck me. I'm so totally shield reliant, yet so totally unable to guard what this monster does. So it's not really working for me at the moment, is it? Yeah, my baby back hopping was not fucking working there. Manifestly inefficient. Or ineffective anyway. When it comes to getting away from anything. I'm just letting the monster do what it's doing because this is not great at the moment. At this stage, I'd rather be using dual blades, even if they had fire element. Ugh, god. I mean, the irony of it is that the only monster that's primarily weak to water among these in the lineup, among the monsters in the lineup, is this one, and yet this is the one I can't hit with my fucking weapon. It's not that bad because I'm using a gun lance, but as I say, this is a water weapon, and I'm not dealing water damage with my gun lance shells. Which, by the way, some people need to be told. Some people need to be told that gun lance shells do not possess the element or the status of the weapon. Because, you know, one would just assume that it's perfectly logical for an exploding fiery gun lance shell to deal water damage. I mean, I don't mind the idea of it, but the fact that you need to ask, I don't know. It's a common question that I've seen. Like I say, good idea, but definitely doesn't make sense in the games where no visual effect will come up except for, you know, fiery, explosive stuff when you shoot your... I mean, I can't even get close to him! Because if I commit to attacking, right, he's gonna hit me with his bloody fire. And if I'm bouncing, it's bad news. I think I've got another Wyvern Fire lined up. This was poor choice of weapon. If I had guard up, it wouldn't be an issue. That is to say, guard skill increase, that's what it's called. But I definitely don't have that, and there's not much I can do about it. That is a dead Gravios. The next quest, not the next quest, but rather the next monster, is not going to be that much more fun, because it's going to be a high mobility, or a fast moving monster, and I'm going to be using a slow moving weapon type. Terrible choice. I don't know of any Monster Hunter game that... No. No Monster Hunter game that I've played grants the same element of the gun lance to the shells. Now, what gun lance shells do possess is a very small amount of fire element. But at this stage, I don't remember if that was always the case. It may have only been as of 3rd gen, so portable 3rd. But I have a sneaking suspicion that it's also in 2nd gen, that it carries a small amount of fire damage. I really should have detonated those bombs, they would have hit the tail. Of course, Nargacuga does have a ranged attack, but he doesn't use it quite as frequently as a Gravios would use his ranged attack. Come on. Thank you. Alright. Kaichel, you are the ranged guy. Go do it! Fucking hell! Apparently Kaichel doesn't even want to shoot the monster when it's in a trap. I mean, the fucking designated bomb detonator, based on, you know, the laws of fucking common sense, stood there waiting for, I don't know, the fucking rapture? Instead of detonating the fucking bombs. Can I technically do it? I guess, but, you know, it's... Who's more likely to detonate bombs from a distance? The gunlance guy or the guy with the bow? Good God. Ugh. I don't know if he's one of those snobs, one of those prudes who just refuses to take advantage of traps or something, but that was just shocking. Just when I was considering congratulating the team for actually sticking by the traps, unlike the people I've been playing with recently in Generations Ultimate. Do not get hit by that attack, by the way. It fucking hurts in this game. I mean, it hurts in all of the games, but it certainly hurts here in Freedom Unite. Someone's put a little bomb, a lonely little bomb. I'm sure it will achieve something. If you're pinging for that bomb, mate. Okay, he's putting a... he's put a trap on the bomb, which is nice. Let's see if Kaichel knows how to shoot. Well, he's... Well, I think that may have actually hit the tail, though. Definitely a dodgy detonation, though. Mate, are you taking the piss? Anyway, I have nothing to say beyond what you've just seen. Alright. The monster is dead. Yeah, that was extraordinary. The only explanation for Kaichel not shooting during that trap to detonate the bombs is that he's like, well, I don't want to take advantage of this trap because it just makes the game too easy. I'm just gonna stand here and fucking watch while I stand back waiting for him to detonate the bomb so I can go in and do something, for Christ's sake. Anyway. Just extraordinary. That is a quest which I was expecting to be rather miserable, taken care of after not too much time having passed, and with minimal, I guess, bumps along the way. Although it was a little annoying to have chosen this weapon, and been forced to hunt with it, on account of that decision that I made. Alrighty, right. Sitting on a decent amount of money for a fucking change. I suppose that's because I haven't forged anything recently. I've been playing a lot, just on camera, so haven't had time to work on forging things. I'll tell you what, once you start forging things, you will run out of money very quickly. Weak is cheering. Good for him. I'm glad that he is enthusiastic about our success. Not my... Random hunt. Ugh, what's going on? I'll probably have to follow this one up. I don't know if Linux has actually broken rules by... Like, if he has played online with someone else's shared character, then he is breaking the rules, and he can't do that. But, you know, because I don't want to in any way discourage the reporting of cheating, or doing things that are against the rules, because this, next time I see someone cheating, I'll be quiet and let them cheat and ruin other people's guild cards. You know, that's not something that should be encouraged or glossed over. So I will try to look at that later because, yeah, that's not great. Ngome is asking if we are full. I don't know. I think we are. I haven't hunted with Gomez since, I don't know, the days dinosaurs roamed the earth. So it would be nice to hunt with him again. Now, we had the King's Domain, Azure Rathalos, selected for us, so I will go and change into something a little more appropriate. I will gather some honey from the farm because I haven't done that yet. It's good to, you know, gather honey for reasons that needn't be put forward. Feline kitchen. Can I just say that I'm sick of being given tickets in this fucking game when I eat food? I don't even... In the first instance, I don't know what I'm doing with them. I'm accumulating them for what purpose, I don't know. But primarily, I'm sick of fucking having to speak to these cats every time. It's nice to speak to your felines that slave away over hot stoves to make your food, but, you know, I'm a busy hunter. Perhaps I haven't the time. I am time poor. What do I want to use? It's... Wait, what is it? Azure Rathalos. Alright, I'll use a lance. Can't remember the last time I used a bloody lance on a Rathalos, so... At least in this game, so let's do that. I believe I'm correct in my assumption that Azure is weakest to Dragon. I think he's the only Rathalos... What is going on in this room? What in the precise fuck is going on? Hold on. So, Mina, to start with, has been sniped, but I don't know if... Yeah, well, don't worry about it, Mina, because I'm gonna figure it out. So, who are we hunting with? I always forget when I need to contact people. It was... Mume. Okay, I see. So he said to Gourmet, switch with me, my back hurts. Which is a strange complaint, considering that one needn't exert any sort of... well, one needn't utilize the back muscles or anything like that to play. Anyway. Hello. Archie-antagonist? Archie-antagonist? I mean, Again, the requirement for any Twitch name is for it to be impossible to read at a glance while recording the game. Anyway, Kicksaw, yeah, right. Alright, so it seems that we are all under control, except for this person who has sniped the position. Mangu, hold on. I'm not going to kick Mangu, I'm going to politely ask them to leave because they have just taken someone's spot. Enable network chat. See, this is the point. We needn't aggressively and dispassionately kick people from the room. Anyone who can be reasoned with should be reasoned with. That's the better way to approach things. And it seems that that person was kicked by Gourmet. I'm going to explain it to him. Like, ugh. It's not like he turned up and started posting his own quests or anything. And I don't think he sniped unreasonably. He in fact was asking if the room is full. Like, he actually typed in the chat, "Is the room full?" He was asking me, knowing that I was the room host. So, you know, he's actually communicating. He can be reasoned with, and Gourmet has just, you know, kicked him out of the room. On Mina's orders. But that's Mina, like... Anyway, what quest is it? Azure Rathalos, I think that might be in this list. Yes, the King's Domain. I can't believe that Shiro is reacting to the one-vote kick as if it were something novel. When did he join the server? 2022. It's not to be like, oh, I'm so great, it's to point out that it's nothing new. At all. Anyway. It's something that I suggested. It exists because of my suggestion, which was to create a system in Hunsterverse where the person who created the room has greater kicking powers to basically combat the issue of snipers, which was absolutely rife in the game that I'm playing right now, and still is, but in a very different sort of way. I'm not talking about people like who just joined and was asking if there was actually a spot in the room. I'm talking about people who will muscle in on your room while you're waiting for people to help you with whatever you're doing, and they will post their own quest, and will totally ignore whatever you've put on the board and basically steal the room from you. It's shocking, I've seen it. It happened a lot in the past, and I'm sure it still does, so... yeah. Let me go and disable that frickin' chat, because it's ugly. For those of you wondering why I did not just climb up to Area 5, it is because that is really monotonous and repetitious and, well, maybe not repetitious. I guess the, it's visually repetitive in that you're watching your character do this for ages, but yeah, it's mainly just boring to watch, is the point that I'm trying to make. And yeah, not worth it. This is probably, I'd say this would take about the same amount of time, and it's more visually engaging. Is he Leaving. Yes, he's leaving. Please don't fucking be a bad host to it. Ooh. What's he doing? Oh, for goodness sake. Yeah, okay, really. Was that thrown in jest, or were you legitimate? Oh, I see. He's... I'm an idiot. I didn't even realize that Shakalaka King was here. And frustratingly, I do not have it. You know what, let's just kill Shakalaka King, why not? Yeah, I did not realize at all that Shakalaka King was here. Flashbomb cheesing this monster really is unfair, but to be honest, he is a pain. Yes, of course the quest says it. Because he is considered a large monster. He's not physically large, but the distinction between small and large monster doesn't always factor in size. He's technically bigger than a regular Shakalaka, so I guess it's fair. The annoying thing is that he's always wandering around. I do have more or less what you would call high mobility, but only if I take the time to turn around to move forward at pace. Is he fucking dead? Yeah, he's dead. Let's carve his little fire. The one time I forget to bring Psychoserums, honestly. But yeah, that was funny. I do think that I saw Azure Rathalos flying away. But when I remained in combat with something, I thought that maybe Rathalos was not leaving the area for some reason. Maybe doing around the world. But he was not. Everyone is staking out the monster. I'm the lucky one. Fuck off! This is a big one, actually. He is a chunky Rathalos. I have to delay closing the distance because of that bloody wind pressure. I don't know why I was looking through my inventory for flash bombs. I never bring them. You prick! I was still affected by the raw. That's my least favourite thing. When you get raw comboed like that. It's like, oh, sorry for not having high-grade earplugs. Fuck you. That seemed like that flash bomb would work, but it really didn't. I suppose the most annoying thing about people missing flash bombs, and I'm not necessarily blaming that person for missing it that time, because it seemed like good placement, but is the fact that you get blinded briefly, and then if it misses, you are blinded for no good reason. Sometimes, depending on how the fight's going, a flash bomb going off can actually cause you to take damage or even die, because you can't see what the monster's doing for a moment. And it's really problematic at the wrong moment, so yeah. It's very frustrating when it doesn't actually achieve anything. can see I'm negotiating the difficulty of my increased evade distance. It can be both very helpful, but also hard to stay on target when you're hitting a weak point like that. Alright, you want to raw combo me again? You do. You are hungry for that. You unfair blue dragon. Terribly unfair blue dragon. Oh my god. I swear he was aiming for weak there, but apparently not. Alright, I will call him a blue wyvern. He is officially a blue wyvern. That's his new category. Classification, that's the word I was looking for. That's his new classification, blue wyvern. Which is also inclusive of, oh, for Christ's sake, what's going on, man? 2 deaths. Difficult to justify, really. Especially given that this is one of those fights where we're just going to flash bomb spam and completely trivialize the interaction with the monster. We're calling it an interactions, rather. Vapid and... oh, Gomer has just abandoned. I think he's pissed off. I think he doesn't want to just sit here and cheese the monster the whole time. That's what the timing of that departure from the quest signified to me. That's what it indicated. Really? Bouncing on the legs of a Rathalos with wide sharpness? What the fuck? Doesn't seem to make sense to me. Has Gomez said anything? He hasn't said anything, so he may have actually disconnected legitimately. It's just the timing of it looked like something of a protest. And I wouldn't really blame him for it. I'm now down to blue sharpness, which I will fix soon. Really? Shit. Did not intend to change directions there. It takes a special kind of guy to have thrown a flash bomb and then to go and trap the monster while flashed. I mean, why? This weak 777 person is not very fun to hunt with. I'm just going to say that. We've already got a limping Rathalos. I'm assuming that he's going to head to 5. I don't think he'd be heading in that direction. Although it may look like he was flying in that direction. They tend to not immediately fly where they intend to go, just to fucking confuse you. And there we go. But yeah, evade distance with the lance is just something that works well for me. I enjoy it much more than I enjoy evading through attacks. Much of that is because I've long since stopped using evade skills, and even the strategy of evading through things. I used to do it back in Try a lot, but I don't anymore. So it's more comfortable for me to get away from attacks rather than go through them. Certain attacks, of course, I will go through because they're easy to evade. There are some examples of attacks like those, usually very fast ones that are not very prolonged, that are easy to time, easy to roll through. I'm happy to roll through those, but to actually base my whole playstyle around evading through something. I just don't do it anymore. It's a lovely final shot. Alright. I'm just going to ask Gormir if he's still hunting. Because it's saying he's actually offline, so maybe he totally lost internet connectivity. That's fine, Mina. I'll check Freedom 1. What do you have to say? I'm so sick of seeing this GIF just constantly in this chat. What the hell is this one? Ew. What? What's with this visual effect? It's like mid-2000s fucking Blingy or something like that. Reminds me of Blingy. Do you guys remember Blingy? Ugh. I guess it's not entirely like that, but yeah, it was awful. Okay, Mina is done, which is not great because I've just lost Gormir. I've now lost Mina. Which leaves who? This guy? This prick with the flash bombs? Great. Alright. But yeah, that is a person who is well and truly flash bomb happy. He throws a minimum of 10 every hunt. Every hunt. Shocking. Gormir is responding. That flash fest was boring. Well, this is the thing, P-Berry. The interesting fact is that flash bombs are equally effective across all of the games from Monster Hunter 1 to Freedom Unite, but it is Freedom Unite specifically where people are so flash bomb happy, and it's because it's a different community of people. It is Freedom Unite specifically where people will throw upwards of 10 flash bombs every single hunt. It's because they don't have the self-confidence to fight the monsters properly. They are so tempted by the ease with which they can clear the hunts using flash bombs that they have never done anything else. They've never done it different to that. And so they probably don't know how to hunt any other way. It's useless. Apparently, Gormir managed to find a cheater while doing that. Gunlance gang. Didn't he fucking tell me that he didn't want to play? Or that his connection was too bad? You know, as far as people who are actually legitimately addicted to Monster Hunter, Arx is one such person. He is just... He lives and breathes Monster Hunter. And not just, like, the series. He lives and breathes this game. This specific game. And it's... I will never understand it. He is here every day, playing the same game. Endlessly. Zoak is here. His only contributions of late have been just posting random pictures from, I don't know, Instagram of people. It's weird. Anyway. Usually handsome men, so I don't know what he's trying to tell us, if I want to actually pronounce my words. Week 777 is literally staying in my room, refusing to leave. Zeku is responding with a sobbing face to what I said. I think what's most egregious about the flash bomb spamming of this weak 777 guy is that he doesn't even seem to attempt to get them on target half the time. He will just throw his flash bombs aimlessly and without direction and just pray that it works. I'm going to say 3 slots for random hunts, because I'm not hunting with that guy. I suppose I can reason with him. Here we go. Let's have a conversation with the guy. I don't even know if he speaks English. Let's find out. Oops. What? Carry my ass in a cart. Is he referring to dying in hunts, or... is that some kind of strange threat where he's going to incapacitate me and then wheel me around in a shopping trolley? I don't really get it, but... anyway. Ugh. Aval has joined. I haven't hunted with him in ages. Who is he again? Let's find out. Aval. Fuck if I know what that's... oh, it's Aval, but with fancy characters. I recognise the name. I've definitely played with him before, and played with him on camera, but not recently. I have told this person to stop using flash bombs. He has responded with... okies, sorry. Which is fine. Like, I can live with that. Again, these people can be reasoned with. You don't have to just kick them and refuse them the opportunity to play the game. If he responded to my request to stop using flash bombs with, well, it's a part of the game, so I'll do whatever I want, then he would not have a room to hunt in. I'm going to ask Gorman to come back. What's he talking about? I don't know what he's referencing. There was a time, I think, where a Cantor managed to really trap me in the corner, like he was stun-locking me almost. Not actually, he was comboing me, that's the term I'm looking for. And he found it so funny that he kept talking about it for ages, and I'm telling you, this must have happened like a year and a half ago, and he's still referencing it. I don't really understand what's going on with this guy. Can't believe you talked to random for that. I don't really know why I'm bothering to engage Zoak in conversation. He's operating with, let's just say, minimal intelligence. DLC G 2-star, Red Roundup. I'm assuming that that takes place in the arena. It's Daimyo Hermitaur, Red Kezu, and Rathalos. Common element? Probably water. No, not water. Okay, I will go raw. Or, well, no, I wouldn't do poison because I don't think Kezu takes much damage from poison. Okay, just raw then. I could use just a fun, weak weapon. Yeah, I'm going to use a fun, weak weapon. Which will be... And when I say weak, I really mean weak. It is Pirate J Sword, yeah. It looks really good. A very attractive weapon visually. But let me tell you, for a G-rank longsword, it's a bit embarrassing. So, yeah. I don't know what they were thinking making it this weak. I understand not making it the best longsword, but it's so significantly weaker than so many other longswords in the game at G-rank level that I couldn't even begin to guess what Capcom were thinking with the stats that they decided to attach to this Pirate J Sword. Weak 777 has posted a quest. He's not really in any position to do so, but I'm going to see what he's put here. It's... what? It's DLC, but it's G3 star, so it's definitely not the one that was put on the board. Well, not put on the board, but rather, this is what's put on the board. I'm referring to what was selected by the random hunts command in Huntsdiverse. Dual twin horns. No, that's not what we're doing. We are doing... wait, hold on. Event quest. Now, what's that quest called? It's called... if I can find it. Red Rumble Roundup. It's a jump quest, so that will make it easier to find. Not that one. I just saw something about Porky. I don't know what. Red Rumble Roundup is what we want. Everyone's joined up on that quest because they're not really keeping track of what's going on. What's going on is that we are randomly selecting quests, and what has been selected is not what he put on the board. And that is what I would describe as a convenient reason to reject the quest. Primarily, I fucking hate Diablos and don't want to do that. But yeah, we're selecting quests, specifically. Not just doing whatever weak happens to want to do. Yeah. I've always known that Kezu had strong resistance to poison, but I had never actually checked what that, like, just how resistant he was or how poison interacted with him. So apparently, Kezu is very easily poisoned initially, but then he becomes extremely resistant. Which is weird, but I like that sort of thing. I like strange, quirky resistances for monsters. Alright. Let's disable the chat. You don't want to stay in that screen for too long. It's actually pausing the emulation, but you can pause for a short time and still maintain connection, because the game makes an allowance for brief connection losses. But again, if you do that during the loading screen, it will disconnect the team, and also, if you do it for too long, you will have been disconnected for long enough to actually cause a break-off of some kind. What's my favourite monster? I don't really know. I'd say Deviljho is one of my favourites just because I have very affectionate memories of fighting him in Tri. because he was very well introduced in Monster Hunter Tri. There was an intimidation factor, he was weird in certain ways, he seemed very large and bulky yet surprisingly athletic, and he dealt a lot of damage. He was just a curious monster which everyone was quite afraid of as they were working their way through early to mid-high rank. And I like him as a monster. He's fun to fight. So I'd say Deviljho. And I'd say pretty much anyone who played Tri would probably agree with that assessment. Now, as I said, this longsword is just pathetically weak compared to other weapons that you can get. I don't have any sonic bombs, sadly. Oh, he, and by he I mean Gourmet, had some sonic bombs on hand, but was just a little too late bringing it out. But yeah, like I said, this longsword is very weak, but it doesn't matter so much because we've got a group of 4 people absolutely beating on these monsters, as you can tell. Now, of course, Daimyo Hermitaur doesn't have much health anyway. Being one of 3 monsters, he's obviously got a tiny amount of health, but yeah. I think all of these monsters will die fairly quickly. We've got Red Kezu next, and then Rathalos. A pretty standard hunt. Strange for a DLC hunt, but I suppose it's a weird lineup of monsters, so perhaps it is appropriate after all. Peaberry and I are aligned when it comes to our preference for Astalos. He says Astalos is probably his favourite monster in general. For me, he's my favourite among the Fated 4. But there are a lot of people who don't think much of anything about Astalos, thinks he's fairly generic. And, well, people think that he is fairly generic, but I don't agree, because if you look at him on a detailed level, he's actually very nicely designed. It's very cool. But, as for a least favourite monster, there's an obvious one that's jumping out in the back of my mind. I can't think of it right now. What is it? What monster do I truly fucking hate fighting? There is one. It's not just Diablos. I don't like Diablos, but there's at least one other that I dislike more. It's not coming to mind immediately. Well, I'll just say Diablos for now. I just have never liked that monster. I don't like the way the monster moves. I don't like the weak points for the monster type. I don't enjoy fighting him at all. I dread it every time. And it's funny, not everyone feels that way. I'm sure Diablos is probably one of the more unpopular monsters, but there are some people who see no issue with him at all. But I'm certainly not one of those people. I despise the monster. In every game that Diablos appears in, I hate that monster. Astalos appeared in late 4th gen, which is Generations and Generations Ultimate. Or cross/double cross, depending on the region. This is why I'm using high-grade earplugs. Why would you use high-grade earplugs when you're fighting Daimyo Hermitaur? Well, it wasn't for him. I have dropped down to blue sharpness, which I will fix soon. I don't like to go down to blue sharpness in any event, but with a weapon this weak, I cannot allow that. Really? Diablos is your favourite monster since Monster Hunter 1. Okay. Very well. See, everyone's got their own preferences. Black Gravios? No, Look, I don't like Gravios at all. I really don't like Gravios, but I can deal with him, I suppose. There is one particular monster that, for some reason, is just not coming to mind right now. I hate Kirin. I really don't like Kirin. Never liked that monster. Always fucking jumping around. Will never stand still. Always protecting itself with offensive lightning attacks and just, ugh. I think Kirin is an interesting monster design, but I truly despise the confrontation. Obviously, there are ways to fight Kirin where it's not a challenge at all. One example, of course, being ranged combat, whether it's rapid bow or pellet, light or heavy bowgun. That really makes the fight a simple process, and you really don't have to worry, but to me, an annoying monster doesn't become less annoying just because there's an easy way. You know, I want all monsters to at least be tolerable with all weapon types, or most weapon types. Kirin for me is fucking intolerable with most weapon types. But some people know how the monster moves. To the point where they can really beat on it no matter what they use, but I've never gotten to that point with Kirin because I don't really want to train myself doing that. I don't enjoy fighting it. He's a big Kelby. He is. Whoa. Jeez. I did forget that Rathalos was doing around the world. I tend to just stop paying attention after a while, but I think that's really what Capcom intended with that attack, that the around the world maneuver would just go on for so long that the hunter would stop paying attention and then the monster would strike when you dropped your guard down. Yeah, I don't really want to commit to this trap either, to be honest. It's now just so far away that I don't really see the point. It was very close to that tail, though. Even though we are a group of 4 people, and these monsters are not very strong in terms of health, having to wait for 2 separate monsters to spawn, obviously we start fighting the first one immediately, it makes the hunt feel like a substantial confrontation. It drags it out a little bit. You know, I feel like it's been a while since we started the hunt, because we've waited for the second monster and now the Rathalos to spawn. So, yeah, elongates it a little bit, stretches it out. Might not be a very clever way of giving the illusion of a long hunt, but and probably not an entertaining way of doing it either, but whatever. I never bother trying to roll through those tails, because those hitboxes really linger for a long time. Straight in the fucking trap! How about that? That's very nice of you, Rathalos. I think he actually wanted to try the trap out. He was like, look at this thing over here. Wonder what it is. I'm curious. That's how it felt. I don't even think he was really aligning himself with any hunter in particular. He just decided to run into the trap for us. I think it's just Mega Potion carves, so cutting that tail is not really very significant. But yeah, Weak has been on his best behavior. I don't think I've seen a single flash bomb go out, which is good, because apparently Gourmet does not suffer flash bombs at all. Like, he really has no tolerance, so that's probably for the best that none of them are being thrown. And of course, asking that guy to stop throwing flash bombs was not purely to get Gourmet back, because I wasn't enjoying it either, and I would have asked him to stop whether Gourmet had left in a huff or not. Because it's just pointless. All the hunts become the same confrontation, you know, just a monster standing still. Especially when he's throwing that many. Yeah, first and second gen Fatalis is definitely not a pleasant experience. I suppose White Fatalis would have to be one of my least favourite monsters. I also really don't like Crimson, but White Fatalis is just a fucking waste of time. The fact that I'm standing there, waiting for this monster to stop flying around in the distance for ages... To me, it's unacceptable, and I will tell you why. It's because the fight is long enough already. Because that monster has like G-rank Lao Shan Lung health, but it's actually doing something, it's actually attacking you. It's not just a giant punching bag, a giant damage sponge, it's actually doing things, and deals a lot of damage. That's actually quite ironic. Got some Pirate J tickets, and I'm using the Pirate J longsword for this. But seriously, like... The quest is already long enough, and now you're going to make us fucking stand around and wait for this monster to just inanely fly around and maybe shoot a thunderball randomly, do some raining lightning, whatever, but just... It has to be said that that's not okay when the monster is already going to take so long to be killed. It drags on a hunt that doesn't need to be dragged on at all. Random hunt. That's good timing. Black Wings of Fate. Look who fucking re-rolled immediately. Gourmet does not want to do Fatalis at all. Veto, he says. Okay. Wow. Apparently, he also has no tolerance for Fatalis. I would have been happy to do it, but fine. Alright, thanks for joining. Now. We have been given green Plesioth. I'm going to use a ranged weapon. Probably... Let's do Spread Thunderbow. That sounds like fun, doesn't it? I don't remember what my... Oh, it's Kezu. Kezu is my Spread Thunderbow. A truly disgusting bow. Let's check it out. Ugh, gross. Menu off so that we can all enjoy it. Oh. Now that is unpleasant to look at. It's even worse when you unfurl the thing. Anyway. That is the Kezu bow. I believe I'm correct in saying that that is my spread bow. Sorry, scatter bow. This awful paper cut on my pinky. And I just rubbed it against my controller and reminded myself of its existence. I hadn't felt it at all today. I did cut it today, and it was not pleasant. But, yeah, just managed to get it on my controller there, and it reminded me, and I winced a little bit when I thought about it. I need to play around with decorations briefly to get the skills that I really want with this set. And then we'll be able to return to the hub, or the hall. What are we doing? We want short charge jewel. There we go. Magically, 2 skills appeared, despite only 1 skill decoration being added. How does that work? Long story, but you can probably guess. All of Kezu's weapons are gross. Look at his foreskin gun lance. You know what? At least this game has a Kezu gun lance. Because believe it or not, Freedom Unite was the first game to have a Kezu gun lance. And there were 2 games before this one to have gun lances. I don't know what the fuck Capcom were thinking, but there is no Thunder gun lance until Freedom Unite, as far as I'm aware. Unless there was one in DOS that I don't know about, because there was no Thunder gun lance in Freedom 2. So, don't know what that was about. It's a bit weird. But yeah. So this is going to be Plesioth. Let's bring these coatings here. I was just thinking about whether or not I would bother bringing combination materials for them. I'm not going to bother doing that. But yeah, to be honest, I would take Foreskin Gun Lance over no Thunder Gun Lance in the game. And I admit that unreservedly. Okay. Where does Kezu start in this fucking place? He starts down here, doesn't he? Oh, I remember where he is, yeah. No, I thought he started here. Oh, we're not fighting Kezu. We were talking about Kezu, but we're not fighting him. Fucking hell. Get with the program, Doomlink, please, for the love of God. Forgetful as you are when it comes to monsters and the quests that you're embarking on. Ew, look at it. Thanks. Yeah, this bow is sick. And I don't mean the good kind of sick. I suppose I would say sickening. Thought I would break the bad news. I didn't bring any sonic bombs, and it's starting to look like, oh no, someone did, and it's Gourmet. I was expecting that, because I saw him bringing sonic bombs out for the Daimyo Hermitaur, which suggested to me that he always brings them. Oh, that was really bad positioning on my part. It is so inexcusable to allow yourself to be hit by a Plesioth water beam as a bow user. It's not okay at all. Alright, so what I should be aiming for is the neck or the feet. That fuck... oh my god. Perfect tail combo. The most dangerous thing on that monster is his tail. I suppose in this game, his hips as well, but that fucking tail is deadly. Because of the range of it, and the width of it. God. The length and the width of that tail is nasty. And you know what's even nastier? Forgetting to restock on fucking ancient potions. Oh my god. Because I've gone and done that, it's raised the chances of dying twice. Exponentially. Because it's obviously very unlikely for me to die twice if I'm at 150 health both times, but it's actually quite frickin' likely if I forget to bring a max potion or ancient potion. In this game, I just bring ancient potions because they're easier to make in Freedom Unite than max potions, so yeah, I just settle for that. But it's quite unforgiving if you forget to restock. At least with a max potion, you'll still have one left. And by the time you've realised that you forgot to restock, you probably will have just used another one and then you'll remember next time. But with an ancient potion, you forget to restock and that's it. Oh, fuck off. I hate that tail. It's just that to be within critical distance, I have to be within the range of that gigantic tail. And as for being in range of the hip check, I suppose it would suffice it to say that you are always in the range of the hip check. God, I feel so bad for dying when this monster died that frickin' easily. Anyway. Special green Plesioth fin. I find special to be a funny description. It's a special fin. Maybe rare fin would be cooler? I don't know. Special? Anyway. Okay, that's a pretty cool ending screen, I have to admit. Let me try to... not the one that's showing there, but this one here. You can see tail snipe kill, hit it while he's charging. That's pretty impressive. I think that's cool. And it's strangely perfect. I mean, the way you've got the blue sky in the background, it's actually a really good shot. I like it. Very cool. For a final hit during a charge. Very impressive. Alrighty. What's the end? The ending screen for me is Plesioth's creepy face peering from behind, or peering out from behind some kind of low-resolution shrubbery, which is cute in a creepy way. But to be honest, it does match the official definition of cute, which, if I remember it correctly, is ugly but interesting. Now, isn't that a different definition to what everyone's been using? It's true, though. Ugly but interesting is the official definition of cute, or at least it was. Maybe not archaically, but traditionally it was. But then it ended up meaning something rather different. Okay. Next quest. Why do I keep doing that? What's going on? Oh, I see. He completed 10,400 quests in 5 minutes. In under 5 minutes. It's a good joke, though. Alright, what's the monster? It is... What the fuck? Didn't I see random... Oh, I see. It's probably the fucking cooldown, is it? Fucking Christ. Giant crab of the old jungle. I see. So, Gourmet's trying to actually give us weapons to use, which is fine. Happy to do that. If you guys haven't noticed it, I've not been following the weapon selection at all. I've just been going based on preference, but I'm happy to choose whatever the game decides for me. Well, not the game. This is not part of the game. whatever the bot in Hunsterverse decides for me, I will use. So it's a lance on Daimyo Hermitaur, giant crab of the old jungle. Alright. So this will be my Rajang lance. Very good. Or I could actually, what would be more fun? I'm going to use the Gay Bulge lance. You know, I understand the the Celtic mythology of this name, but, you know, I do read it as Gay Bulge affectionately. And I will refer to it as such. Quite affectionately. Affectionately. Anyway. Alright. But yeah, this is probably... It is a competing high raw lance to the Black Diablos lance. It's very good. It's a very good lance, and I can't remember how close this is to Black Diablos. I would say one could argue that it's slightly better or slightly worse. Of course, there is no real argument because it's mathematical. There is probably a clear-cut difference between those weapons, or a very incontrovertible better weapon, but, you know, I haven't done the calculations and I don't really care to. What I can tell you is that this is one of the best raw lances in the game, and it looks pretty cool. Looks a lot cooler than the Black Diablos lance, and to be honest, I'm sick of looking at the Black Diablos lance. I've been looking at it for a long time, so something a little different is welcome. Also, Mina saw what Gome wrote and literally didn't pick up on the fact that it was a joke, which is quite breathtaking, but anyway. Says a lot on its own, doesn't it? I swear I've been clipping... Oh no, sorry, it is still clipped to my shirt. I keep thinking that my earphones not being clipped, well, unclipping from my shirt, but actually it only happened once and now I'm just fucking paranoid for some reason. And I'm sure it was for a perfectly good reason, which I couldn't remember at the time that I realised that it was unclipped, and nor can I remember it now. But anyway. This Daimyo Hermitaur is going to die so fucking quickly that I need to get there as soon as possible so that I can actually enjoy the hunt. Remember, Huga's a cheater. He's gonna kill it for us. But yeah, this is a cool... Oh, for Christ's sake. This is a pretty cool lance design. I mean, aside from the part that looks like a cheese grater. I just like the spikes towards the end of it. You know what do you know why I started attacking there? It's because my muscle memory told me that I could do a lance counter. Unfortunately, I'm playing 2nd gen, so I don't know why the hell I'm entertaining that for. Whether subconsciously or otherwise. Alright. I will heal. Even though the monster's down, I will heal a little bit. Just one potion will do. Is Gomer gonna do it? He's not gonna do it. And by it, I mean throw a Sonic Bomb, because again, he did attempt to do that last time. Strange that we've had 2 quests involving Daimyo Hermitaur. We very rarely fight him on camera, so happy to be doing that. Well, I think I would have preferred to fight Fatalis than that, but fine. I mean, you almost spend more time walking to the monster than fighting the monster, so part of me wants to just re-roll if it's a weak monster, but, you know, as we've established, there's some sort of philosophical disagreement between myself and Zach about the mere idea of re-rolling a random hunt. Because apparently if you're having it randomly selected, then there should be no reason to re-roll it, because then why do a random hunt? But in actual fact, it's more a case of, I don't want to make the selection myself, but some quests that come up are unwanted, you know. Remove that fucking cooldown. Anyway. It is what it is. Part of it also is that it originally didn't have a cooldown, and I was spoilt by the fact that I was using it when it didn't have a cooldown, and then when a cooldown was added, it really frustrated me, because it negatively impacted the way I used the command. Alright. Weak is cheering again. Alright. Why do I keep doing that instead of random? Oh, fuck off. You see what I mean? The quest is so damn fast that the cooldown system is not even fit for purpose. You know, a cooldown system that's fit for purpose will not be as long as what appears to be 15 minutes. 15 minutes? How about a 5-minute cooldown? I will complain about it forever, because it's shit, okay? Just terrible. Without even trying, I rolled the thing, got organised for the hunt, and we departed as a team, killed the monster, and then I go to reroll after having returned to the gathering hall, and it's still 10 minutes left on the cooldown. I mean, that is shocking to me. Truly terrible. He's probably still on a fucking cooldown himself. Unless... Wait, when did I roll the last one? Yeah, he's on a fucking cooldown too. What a joke. He probably rolled the last one, which probably means that I've been on a fucking cooldown since rolling Fatalis. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. So when I rolled Fatalis, let's see what it says. Yep, 30-minute cooldown. That's what it was. Just ridiculous. Someone's bright idea, and someone is staunchly defending it. Immovably defending it. Okay. Jester Booty has been nice enough to, despite the fact that he's not actually part of the group, do the random hunt roll, which is excellent. Blangonga has been selected. I have been given... Are there really A, B, C, D names here. That's quite funny. I've been given hammer, which is fine. I do not often use hammer. I'm sure you will all agree that you almost never see me use hammer. I don't know why. There's no good reason. I don't know. It's just... You will see that I can use hammer well enough, but I just don't enjoy it for some reason. It's very strange. Anyway. Oh, actually, no, this monster does roar, of course, so I'll bring my roar resistance set. Phone user spotted. There's a lot of them. Oh, whoops, I kept my chat up. Did not intend to do that. If I ever do that, don't hesitate to inform me of my error. Because it's definitely not intentional. Because, literally, why would it be? I want you to be able to see what I'm doing in the game. Alright, so the quest was Blangonga. The standard Blangonga, presumably. Wherever it is. Hello. Where is it? It's not going to be in G2, surely. Am I missing something? Why would it be in G2? Where is Blangonga? Why is Blangonga in G2? Copper I can understand, but regular Blangonga? So what else is in G1? Plesioth and Kezu are in G1, while Blangonga is in G2. What were they smoking? What kind of recreational narcotic fantasy were they embarking upon when they decided that Blangonga should be G2? Just incredible. Alright, so Gourmet is helping someone in support at the moment, apparently. I don't know what's going on. Okay. The phone player, so I see what you were mentioning, P-Berry, when you said phone player spotted. The question is, guys, why can't I see players in the server? How do I fix it? And Arx's response is, get a better gaming chair. Okay. It's interesting. Because he's not actually responding to anything when he's saying that. Like, no one has said anything about sitting in a chair or... In other words, there's nothing about what he said that could be construed as being in context, except to say that it was a response to this. So, yeah, who knows. Anyway, Gourmet has said, you want some of my chefs? Check DM if so. Come, support. Oh, I see. It was two separate people that he was communicating with. Okay, what's going on in support? Has he finished helping that person? I've got hunts to do, man. I've got a live stream in progress. It's good of you to be supportive, but be supportive of my live stream. Okay, where is the support channel? Okay, here we go. I never visit this place. This sad place. This guy is not worth helping. Now that's probably an abrasive response, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. This guy was literally pinged to come into support, and then Gourmet sends this, does the point up thing, and he's like, guys, I can't see players, how do I fix it in mobile? I don't know, maybe the timing of it. I'm too... I'm too dumb to read. I'm sorry, that is the perfect phrase to accompany this moment. I'm too dumb to read. But that's okay, I'm not good at English. I'm not good at English. Okay, now I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but there's more than a language barrier at play here if you have just typed English. Okay? There's more than a language barrier going on. Fucking hell. Yeah, just talk to him in his language, Christ. Like, I don't want to put anyone down for not speaking English as a first language, and I would not try to make fun of people trying their best, but fucking hell, I'm too dumb to read. And I don't speak English. I couldn't take the piss and be that funny if I tried. That's really funny. Too dumb to read. Okay, what's happening with Gourmet? Is he hunting? I'm gonna ask him. That was lovely. I needed that laugh. At Gourmet. Still hunting? The room is in high demand. Not really. Actually, it is. It's full. I was saying that as a joke, but no, I've actually got a full room. Although one of these people... Oh, he's having a coffee break. Okay. I don't mind you having a coffee break, but... You know, you just took the time to try and roll a random hunt, which was inclusive of you, and... well, presumably. And then you silently took a coffee break. It would be nice to be informed of your intention to take a coffee break. Anyway, we've got 3 people. Let's just go. There's absolutely no reason to wait for a 4th person when we are hunting Blangonga. So, there you go. I can see Peaberry has already clipped that moment with the guy who is too dumb to read or speak English. I have to tell you that there is a distinction to be made between not being able to speak a language well and being an idiot. And, you know, sometimes there is a fine line, but that guy is definitely not just suffering an inability to speak the language. Well, he is. He is, but for a different reason than simply being inexperienced with the language. Part of why I found it so funny was because of what was going on in my head at the time. I was about to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, look, I guess I wasn't here to see the messages being sent, so perhaps the timing of it made it so that he was already typing that message before Gourmet had sent that command, which gave, you know, a full troubleshooting list of steps that were relevant to that guy's issue. And so it may have looked as if he wasn't reading what Gourmet was saying, but actually the timing of it didn't allow for him to read it, which is obviously giving him the benefit of the doubt. But then, without missing a beat, he follows that up, which is to say my comment, he follows my comment up with, I'm too dumb to read, and I don't speak English very well. So, yeah. Pairing that with me trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, after reconsidering my position, was just comedy gold. Absolutely brilliant. Fuck me dead. Is that the Blangonga? No. Here he is. Big white monkey. I love it when you're trying to... Oh no, we've got a bad host. I don't know if you've noticed it yet, but it's bad. We're getting some instant transmission. It's a secret season of Dragon Ball where the golden monkeys are in fact white. But there is still instant transmission. That still exists. There are 2 people using hammers here, so I'm not going to compete for the head. I'm just going to... Oh, fuck off. I was about to do a spinning golf swing and then, yeah, was unable to go ahead with that. No comment. It is possible in some cases for 2 hammer users to share a head. This is not one such example of a monster where 2 people can share the head. I've run out of stamina, so I have no choice but to do a super power. Okay. I keep going to place a trap, but I'm not restocking my inventory properly. I'm also running into the monster as it's gearing up to attack, so... Ugh. Who knows? Listen to that fucking bumpin' music. That's what people say nowadays, isn't it? Bumpin'! With an apostrophe to account for the lack of a G. Bumpin'. The thing is that much of this song is mediocre, but there are parts of it that are actually very good, so... Teach English when? I feel like I inadvertently do that just by talking to you all. Because I I tend to say things incorrectly, because, I don't know, I'm stupid and phrase things really inarticulately the first time around, because I'm usually thinking about other things, like I'm thinking 10 seconds ahead of what I'm currently saying to what I will say in the future, and then consequently I phrase things incorrectly, and then I rephrase with correct English, and so that should, you know, I quite effectively give you the example of what not to say, and then an example of what would be correct. So I'm actually a very good English teacher as I speak to you all. In fact, I do know of at least 2 people who, in the past, have watched my videos to learn English. Or at least improve their English, and that proved effective for them, so yeah, that's nice. I know, I have a Malaysian friend who, I swear to you, refuses to fucking improve his English. Like, he uses English probably more than he uses his native language, and he uses it every day. And I've known this guy for 7 years, and I swear his English has not improved. He just refuses to learn basic grammar. And, you know, it actually bothers me at this point. I'm just like, why don't you fucking apply yourself? Do you think it's not important? Like, the fact that the concept of plurals doesn't exist to you, like, is that just unimportant to you? Speak English, man. Like, you don't have a reason to be speaking the way you do, after speaking English on a daily basis for more than 7 years, because I'm sure he was speaking English before I met him. Anyway. Never understood that one. But I suppose everyone's a little different with language. He probably thinks it's good enough. I can understand what he means, so that's fine. But to me, like, at a certain point you want to speak the language correctly, rather than just in a passable sort of way. In regards to the guy who is too dumb to speak English, I do hesitate to make fun of people who are trying their best with English, because I understand that it's not easy to be forced to speak a language that you're not comfortable speaking, and furthermore, fear of being made fun of, or being laughed at in any sort of way can tend to prevent people from even trying in the first place, which is unfortunate. So, you know, I don't laugh at that guy lightly. I understand that, you know, that's probably not clean humor for a lot of reasons, but that guy's funny. I'm sorry, like, that guy was really funny. So there is a point where I just let it go and I'm just like, nah, this guy's either, you know, punking me real hard, or he's actually dumb. And I won't comment on the fact that he immediately followed it up by saying, I'm Filipino. But anyone who's got Filipino friends, of which I have at least 3, they will know that the Philippines is not exactly a hotbed of intellectual thought. That's not coming from me, that's coming from people who live in Malaysia. Oh, not Malaysia, sorry. The Philippines. Probably Malaysia too, but... yeah, like, culturally, the Philippines has a lot of people who just don't seem to engage themselves mentally. It's sort of like... I don't know what it is. It's a cultural thing. And it's all I hear from actual Filipino people, so... What do you mean, Pocky Pocky Village? Mate, you and your marijuana. It's Poka Poka Airo Village, not Pocky Pocky Village. And incidentally, I didn't even know the game existed until you talked about it, so I know it's Poka Poka Airo Village because of you. Unless you were wrong in saying Poka Poka Airo Village and you taught me wrong. That's possible. The reason is because the culture doesn't value individuality, just like my mother's home country, Pakistan, so people don't critically think about their actions. Well, there you go. I knew that there would be a cultural explanation for it. And do you know, there's actually another, I guess, manifestation of what you've just talked about, a lack of individuality, that I see among people from that country, and it's that they never try to figure something out on their own. They always ask other people, and I think that it's perfectly sensible, and in some cases to be encouraged, to seek help from other people. But if it's for really basic things, we're talking about things that are so basic that the vast majority of people, no matter where you live in the world, their first thought would be to fucking Google that shit. But these people come to you and they're like, obviously not having Googled anything, are asking how to do something, and it's weird. So, what you describe as a cultural lack of valuing individuality, to me, seems to be causing that as well. But yeah, like, I don't want to sit here maligning the Filipino people, but I stress that any one of you who has Filipino friends that you get along with, they will very openly tell you how much they hate Filipino people. Like, it's just, it is what it is, like. It's not coming from me, we'll put it that way. Hold on, what is our next quest? Antarctica is worse, they don't even have a culture. What have we got? Black Diablos? Are you fucking kidding me? Alright, you know what I'm gonna do? If someone's already got a quest posted in there, I'm gonna do that quest. Okay? And if there isn't a quest posted, we'll do Diablos. Oh my god, hold on. Gourmet, and not for the first time, has joined up on a random person's quest. The King's Domain. Again? Fucking hell. But, like I said, I would rather do that for a second time than do Black fucking Diablos. Let's use something random, something really weird. How about the Gavas fan? Here we go. Oh wait, it's Azure. So I think I would rather use Dragon. Sorry for the loud clearing of my throat, by the way. It is unavoidable at this stage. My throat, shockingly, still is not 100%. One day, I'm sure. Alright, so... I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get the resonance of my voice back. It's currently obstructed. Dual blades, let's use dual blades. Haven't used that weapon type today. We want Dual Dragon Ultimus. I never pull these dual blades out, I don't know why. I suppose it means that when fighting monsters that are weak to dragon, I just never seem to use dual blades for some reason. Which is odd. What's going on? Usually just checking it a second time will fix it, as you can tell. I don't know what causes that. The only way that I can make sense of it is to tell you this. Phone users. Seems to only be with the phone users. Unable to join quest. I mean, seriously. There's an easy fucking solution, and it is to stop using a phone to play Monster Hunter. But unfortunately, these people don't have computers, but they do have phones. And if you tell them to get a laptop, they're like, "You're shaming me for being poor." Like, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, but laptops, especially one that can run this game, are affordable to a person who can buy a phone. Fact. I can finally join up on the quest. Now, do you know why I was having so many difficulties there? It's because this guy's connection is so unstable that it kept on interrupting the process of joining up on his quest. So, quite frankly, that doesn't bode well for this hunt. I cannot allow that guy to host. Now, he has posted the quest, but he is not automatically hosting the hunt. The person who hosts the hunt is the first person to enter the room with the monster, of course. So, I just need to try and avoid that scenario. Red player, Sukuna. We cannot allow Sukuna to fucking enter the... Look at him! Did you see that? He continued into the other area, but on my screen, he went through the fucking floor into the distance for quite some distance before actually changing areas. This guy's internet is legendarily shit. In fact, we're going to find out right now how shit his internet is. You're going to... Oh, shit. I kept the, yes. Thanks for letting me know, Potato. I did not intend to have the Discord screen there for the entire time. It annoys me when I do that accidentally, but it worked out this time around because I did want to check the chat. So, my guild hall, I want to figure out who this guy is, and I'm going to check his ping. Sukuna. Oh god, who the fuck is it? Sukuna... what? 2747? Let's find out. Check that out. See that variance? 499 to 874. Absolutely balls to the wall. Terrible. And because I pinged him, he went and checked Discord as well, so that doesn't actually help the connectivity either. I mean, you guys underestimate how fucking terrible the internet of these people is. It's really bad. Like, it's really bad. Is he playing from the armpits of Greenland? No, he's playing from, like, the worst phone using the worst Wi-Fi router in a room with no coverage. That's what he's doing. Wi-Fi hunters. Playing with phones. And he's broken off. Thank God. Thank God. Because quite frankly, it was either him or someone else. And I would rather it be him because he's the problem. It is absolutely the case that people with unstable internet can cause disconnections with other hunters. So, yeah, thank God he disconnected because that internet is pathetic. Just horrendous. He's not in a position to be playing online with anyone. And I feel sorry for him, you know, it doesn't please me to see... Or to have to say to a person, you shouldn't be playing with us, because your internet sucks too much. But it's a fact. I don't really want my experience, or the experience of anyone who happens to hunt with you, to be ruined, because your internet is so bad. P-Berry says that he's from the International Space Station. And Potato says, I'm pretty sure the International Space Station has better Wi-Fi than this dude. Which is probably true, sadly. Very sadly. I'm perfectly content with fighting this monster with 3 people after that fucking crisis that we just averted. Or that was just averted. That's some pretty good trap placement if ever I've seen it. Can't argue with that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If you want to know my opinion on that, good fucking stuff. Sexy trap placement and delectable timing with the paralysis. Me like. Yeah, I'm gonna do this too. Whoops. I'm fucking gathering mystery bones instead. Just what I wanted. Would I prefer to have King Shakalaka? But fucking hell, he's disappeared! I couldn't carve King Shakalaka because my character decided that he wanted mystery bones instead. Great. from where I was standing, it wasn't clear that his tail had been cut. I mean, I knew that's what it was, because what else would cause that animation? But it just seemed like Rathalos, for no good reason, just went... "Ugh!" Like, I don't know, he had a sudden... maybe... episode of explosive diarrhea, I don't know. Well, my imitation of the sound is probably not very accurate. What is going on? Is this normally like that? Don't know why, that just seemed a little different from normal. I was like walking into this dark tunnel and I'm like, is that normally how this is? I think it is, but strangely I just looked at it differently. I'm sure you've all experienced that, where you look at something very familiar, but with different eyes for some reason. And you become confused, you're like, did it always look like that? It doesn't happen all the time, it's something that you only experience usually once or twice a year, but when it happens it weirds you out a little bit. You're like, what's going on? But it's just funny, it goes to show, sometimes you look at things without really looking at things. And when you finally appreciate some detail that you never paid attention to in the past, it almost feels unfamiliar to you. It's an interesting way the brain works. Skydark is pinging for the trap, I fully understand that, but there is a consistent opportunity that presents itself every time Rathalos flies to the ground, so I'm not going to, you know, pass up that opportunity just to stand next to your fucking trap. Mr. Death Stench, Paralysis Sword and Shield Man. Thank you, Gome. I saw that. It was very good of you to do. That's some of the best teammate support I've seen in a long fucking time. And let me tell you that it is refreshing to see. Because, would you fucking believe it? That there was a time in Monster Hunter when that was normal. When people were that in tune with your fellow hunter, or with their fellow hunter, that was just normal play. When I talk about reminiscing about the old days, that's what I'm talking about. The days when that sort of thing was normal. So... and I used to do the same thing. I used to partake in that sort of team play. It was sensitive and detailed and good. And quite rightly, Potato immediately references Try and says it was peak gaming. Well, for me, that was also my experience with the old community. I played Freedom Unite, this game here, on Ad Hoc Party and had positive experiences, but it was difficult to really appreciate all of that through the terrible connectivity issues I used to have with the people who played on Ad Hoc Party. Whereas Try, in terms of connectivity, despite the fact that, you know, I was using shitty Australian internet from 2010, keeping in mind our internet is still shit, so imagine how it was back then, to play with people from Europe, ugh. Yeah, I never really noticed terrible connectivity in Try. It was always pretty smooth. But, yeah, the community was very good in those days. Still. I never experienced PlayStation 2 original servers. Never experienced it, so I would have liked to have done so. But maybe it's a blessing that I didn't, because maybe I would even more sorely miss the old hunting communities if I had experienced, say, Monster Hunter 1's original servers. Which I believe shut down in 2010, which is interesting. Because, you know, I think about how I started Monster Hunter in 2009, so I technically could have had a chance to play online in Monster Hunter 1. But didn't get the game. I was a bit more forward-looking than that. Freedom Unite was the most recent Monster Hunter at the time, and I just... it was a series that I'd only just started playing, so I didn't want to go back to the first games. Wasn't on my radar. You know, I would do that with games that I was familiar with. That's a great ending screen. I'm helping! Yes, the Wii port of Monster Hunter G had online play, and I believe that the servers shut down. No, it was 2011. Sorry, I think... I'm pretty sure it was 2011 for Monster Hunter 1. The same was the case for Monster Hunter G. I'm pretty sure that the Monster Hunter 1 and the Monster Hunter G servers on the Wii shut down at the same time. And yes, it absolutely had online play. I distinctly remember Tri coming out, and I was aware of the fact that it wasn't the first Monster Hunter game on Wii. Like, I remember that very clearly, and I started to wonder, well, if this is 3rd gen, like this is the first of Monster Hunter 3, obviously I knew of Monster Hunter 2 and Freedom 2, so I understood that Monster Hunter 3 releasing on the Wii meant a new generation of Monster Hunter. I started to wonder, well, what the hell is that other game on the Wii? And that's when I realized it was a port of the first G-Rank PS2 game. But unfortunately, I never even for a moment considered getting it because it was only in Japanese. Which was just... I mean, that was a non-negotiable for me at that time. The game had to be in English. I wasn't going to fucking play a game that I couldn't read. The only time that I decided to do that was with Portable Third. And... yeah, that was getting English translations after not too long. Probably after 3 months or so, maybe even 2 months. It was getting English translations, so as long as you had custom firmware on your PSP, you were able to do that, and that was very easy to do with a PSP. Everyone who owned a PSP would do that because it was simple and easy. But, yeah. Monster Hunter G was never on the table for me because it just wasn't translated. Who's the gaming chair guy? Good to see you, Arexian. I don't seem to remember what Monster Hunter games you play. When you say you're stuck on Yian Garuga in this game, did you start playing Freedom Unite recently? People may underestimate how difficult it is for me to keep track of all the games that you play. Like, those of you who chat and talk to me, I love talking to all of you. And obviously I build a profile in my mind of you by name and personality and the things that you talk about and say and the things that you value, but it's difficult to simultaneously keep a record in my head of the games that you play in the Monster Hunter series. So, in the case of Arexian, no idea. Literally no idea. And Arexian's been tuning in for 3 years plus, so yeah, I don't know. It looks like Gome has rolled fucking double Rajang, the final invitation, which is fine because that's one at a time. I don't mind doing that one. If it were Twin Terrors, I'd have a different feeling, or a different sentiment. I have been given Lance again, which I will not do. Hold on. Kirin? No. Alrighty. So again, as I said, I was given Lance for some reason. I say for some reason because I swear I have been given Lance way too many times by this bot. Or this command. Of course the bot gives the command, but maybe it's better to say this command. So for the interest, or rather in the interest of keeping this entertaining, I'm not going to use the Lance again. I'm going to perhaps use Hunting Horn. Thunder Hunting Horn, what does that wind up being? It's Brute Flute. I like that name because it rhymes. It's rather cute. Quaint. Especially considering that the weapon actually makes me sick to look at. No, this weapon's not too bad. As far as the Kezu weapons go, this is one of the slightly less unpleasant ones to look at. Arexion says that he has hardly skimmed the surface of the old Monster Hunter games, and I turned him onto Hunsterverse a year and a half ago or so. He's only ever played Freedom Unite and Portable Third through Hunsterverse. Much more Portable Third than Unite, because Freedom Unite was hard for him, which is understandable, because one's first experience with second or first gen Monster Hunter coming from third and fourth is usually, oh god, this is extremely rigid, and this game is tearing me a new asshole. I wish I had played first gen starting from the beginning, but I understand the experience people have going from third or fourth gen back to second. I started with second, so I didn't have that experience, but I understand it because I went backwards from second to first. And that taught me a new asshole. So I would imagine that going from third to second was the same thing in every single way. And it might strike some people as surprising or odd that something as rigid as second generation Monster Hunter can actually cause you to feel spoiled when you go back to first generation Monster Hunter. But I should also stress that my understanding of second gen Monster Hunter was always based on the experience of playing Freedom Unite, and what I found was that Freedom Unite actually brought so many new things to the table that it's not quite accurate to characterize all of second gen based on a Freedom Unite experience. It is the best of the, or rather most developed of the second gen games, but it's not representative of second gen because DOS is actually very close to first generation in a lot of fundamental ways, and Freedom 2 it actually lacks so many of the basic quality of life game design aspects of Monster Hunter that when a person in third gen goes back to Freedom Unite, they don't even question it. They're like, well, of course that would be in the game, but look at all these other things that are just messed up and difficult to deal with. Well, you start to understand just how much Freedom Unite improved upon things just by going back to Freedom 2. Even Freedom 2 was significantly less convenient to play and experience. You go back to DOS and Monster Hunter G and Monster Hunter 1, it'll blow your fucking mind. If you've never played it before. If you're not familiar with just how different Monster Hunter was before Freedom Unite. It's an incredible experience. If you're just looking at screenshots, you'd never know. You'd look at a Freedom 2 screenshot and assume that it was the exact same game as Freedom Unite. You'd look at a Monster Hunter G screenshot or a Freedom 1 screenshot and think, okay, well the heads-up display looks different. But there's so much more to it than that. Yeah, the monsters are the same, but bloody hell, it's not the same game. It's fundamentally different, and going even from second gen back to first gen was crushing. So that's why I always recommend people who want to try first gen to get comfortable with second first. Because I can't even imagine going from third to first. That's frightening. Or fourth to first. Or, God forbid, fifth to first. I don't know if that's actually been done. I don't know if someone who started in 5th generation Monster Hunter actually went back and played first. I'm sorry about my throat. But yeah, like there must be people out there who played World and they were like, you know what, I really want to give this series a try. Let's start with the first games. They would have been so drastically pummeled that they probably would have just stopped playing from the first quest that they departed on. That would be my guess. I mean, the actual shock to the system that it would cause, it's actually a different game. It's just a totally different game. It may as well not even be Monster Hunter. If you were to go from World or Rise to Monster Hunter 1. Different universe, different dimension. Alright, I think I'm going to ready up. I don't know why the hell I was hanging around as long as I was. Yeah, I'm getting some fun out of DOS. I have mixed feelings about the quest system, but it's alright. Alright, so before I enter the area, I need to get my song sheet out, because I don't remember the songs. Hunting Horn song sheet, here we go, Brute Flute. It really is that easy. What have we got? Purple, red, 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 green, red, and that's all I really care about. Purple, red, red, and red, green, red. Which is good. Because you can basically chain into defense from attack. This is not good. Please don't... Ugh! Give me a break. Alright, I'm going to start with self-improvement. If I can. I'm using a thunder... has anyone questioned this? I'm using... It's so funny, I wondered why, subconsciously, I was visualizing the Yukanlos hunting horn when I was setting up for this quest, and now I realize why. It's because that's the appropriate element, not thunder on thunder, for fuck's sake. That's when you know your wires have crossed in your mind. Yeah, the element that I am contending with is thunder, which means I need to use ice, not the same element, for fuck's sake. Oh my god. This is really bad. I don't know if anyone said anything, and by anyone I mean like players that I'm playing with. This is just shocking. Literally. And I'm upset. Because now I may as well be using a raw hunting horn that deals 1300 inflated raw, which is neither here nor there. Yeah, fuck off. I'm pissed off. I don't even want to... I don't want to deal with you right now. All of my damage is basically Gome and 4 PM. I don't know why this guy's name is 4 PM, but it is, and there's not much I can do about it. It's weird, but power to it. Yeah, I'm way too dumb to equip the right weapons. Oh my god. That was very funny. I'm so annoyed that I equipped a fucking thunder weapon to fight Raja. What's wrong with me? It's what happens when you're too invested in whatever discussion you're having, either with yourself or with your audience. It's just... it happens sometimes. Okay. We need to sort this out. So, people who go on about the Emu War, okay? The reason why we lost the Emu War was because we had not been authorized by the government to use bombs, okay? And in the end, we didn't have enough ammunition to kill them all, so we lost the war. If we'd been given the authority to use bombs on the emus, we would have won, but we lost. That's the reality of the situation. So I don't want to hear that, oh, you lost to a bunch of birds. Yeah, the emu war. It's a sensitive topic. Don't discuss the emu war. Oh, fuck off. Don't need that combo. Hey. Leave me alone. Rajang realizes that I'm the weakest link. Oh, here we go, we got a sleep. The rare second-gen multiplayer sleep. Doesn't happen often, fucking hell. Once in a blue moon. Alright, let me do the detonation. You keep the fuck away from him. I'm sorry, Gomer. But I don't want to, you know, fuck up the detonation. That's an excellent opportunity. That has just shaved off like a minute and a half. To 2 minutes, perhaps. The emu war is not actually a sensitive discussion point. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be offended about the emu war. That was like the 1950s. Oh, God. That's funny. I just love that they called it a war, as if somehow the emus were fighting back with full force. I love it. Like, what are the emus gonna fucking do when we pull out our guns? Pull out some kind of equivalent force of their own? Why do they call it a war? I've always found that to be quite funny. That's why I play along, you know. I don't think that it should be legitimately called a war at all. I don't know who decided that it should be called that. But, yeah. Thank goodness they weren't authorized by the emu government to use emu bombs, yeah. Otherwise we would have had an actual fucking nuclear holocaust on our hands. You know, the fucking emus dropping the H-bomb. Fuck me. Yeah, did you guys know that the emus were the first ones to split the atom? You know now. It's fucking... It's not official history, but... Yeah. We know. Yeah, we managed to narrowly avoid complete annihilation because we didn't use our bombs on the emus. What the history books don't want you to know with Doomlink. Pretty much, I mean, it's what happens when you get a commentary from someone who lives in a country that doesn't fucking exist. Remember, we're all actors, so... I could be fucking telling you anything. You shouldn't listen to what I'm saying at all. It's pure misinformation, fake news bullshit. I mean, the people who don't believe Australia... Yeah, well, Rajang's one of those people, Potato, who doesn't believe Australia exists. But, This is the thing, people who want to say that the Earth is flat, I guess it's hard to get, I mean, if you're that intellectually disadvantaged, I guess it's hard to get in a fucking rocket. Although, having said that, you get in a plane and you can see the curvature of the Earth a little bit, can't you? When you're up in a fucking plane, so... But they're probably not capable of affording an aeroplane ticket, but my point is that it's probably easier to accept that the Earth is flat because you can't get in a rocket than it is to accept that Australia doesn't exist because you can't get on a flight. But, yeah, my argument sort of, or rather my devil's advocate argument, fell apart when I realised that you can kind of see the curvature of the Earth in a plane as well, so, anyway. That actually sounds kind of interesting, Potato. I mean, I wouldn't dismiss it out of hand. Is it possible that something like that could happen? Yeah. I think it's possible. But, I mean, if it's been thoroughly disproven effectively, then that's fine. But just hearing it on the face of it, I don't go, impossible. I mean, who knows? Well, I suppose what I'd say is that I don't know. So I wouldn't dismiss it out of hand, based on my limited understanding of it. If you can scientifically date things accurately to that period and say, this is from that period, not quite carbon dating, but something else that would be irrefutable, then yeah, that's fair, but... Anyway. I think it's an interesting thought. The reason why is because, you know, how much of our history that we just accept as fact is actually just totally inaccurate, we can't possibly know. So that's why I think it's an interesting thing. It doesn't mean that I'm going to suddenly embrace the idea that the 14th century simply didn't happen at all and was a fabrication, but the wider subject interests me. It's the idea that because that occurred in a time that was just totally different from our own, record keeping was different. Basically, it was whatever people wrote, and in those days, what, you know, the percentage of people who were literate and could write was much smaller. And who's to say things, well, of course, certain records, written records, are lost as well, and it was just a different time, so... The accuracy of history is something that always has fascinated me. Although it is quite a bold statement to say that that entire century didn't exist. Well, there you go. And Peaberry has just, you know, completed the circle. He's tied it all together. Who's to say the emus didn't drop emu bombs? Now, I wouldn't be so close-minded as to just completely dismiss that as a possibility. We do not know what the emus were capable of in 1953. We just don't know. Did anyone ask them? Was a record made? Can we categorically state that the emus did not have advanced munitions manufacturing? Can we... I mean... It's, Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, okay? So, as far as I'm concerned, the emus could have been up to fucking anything. Alright. Now, I have it on good authority that it is time for a new hunt. Random hunt. Not Rand Hunt, but rather. It could have been Randy Hunt. Could have had a bit of a Randy Hunt. Something a bit raunchy, a bit kinky, sexy, you know. Ooh. Randy Hunt. Some people are called Randy, which is unfortunate. I feel sorry for those people. If they perform sexually in a consistent and effective manner, then that's probably okay for them to be called Randy. But, yeah. Stop rolling, fatties. Well, if you're coughing, then we're in the same boat, put it that way. Although I haven't coughed much in this recording, I have certainly cleared my throat enough time... Why did I suddenly become Scottish? Enough times! That's right! I've cleared my throat enough times to... what the fuck is going on? That came out of nowhere. Anyway, I've cleared enough times to have evacuated my whole body weight in mucus, so, not that you needed to hear that, but, yeah. Well, no, I haven't actually evacuated anything, as I'm sure you can all attest to. I've not, like, coughed into a handkerchief or anything like that. I've cleared my throat and then swallowed it, if you really wanted to know the lurid details. Fucking hell. Could you imagine if I just sat here and talked in a Scottish accent? Scottish accent! Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you... I can't actually do a Scottish accent. Could you believe it if I just sat here and talked in a Scottish accent for the whole time? Extraordinary, really. I don't think I do a good Scottish accent. Yeah, could you imagine if actually that was my native accent and I just whipped it out like an unwanted flasher on the dance floor? Oh goodness, he just showed us his willy. We didn't ask for it, but I guess he's got something to prove. I don't know where I'm going with that. We've been given Predators of the Swamp, which is Emerald Congolala, Purple Gypsaurus, and Kazoo. Yeah, could you imagine? I just commit to the Scottish accent. The thing with doing that, however, is that all it would take would be one Scotsman to say, "That's not quite right. That doesn't sound Scottish to me." I just actually invented the Scottish Cockney in that pathetic attempt at a Scottish accent that I just inflicted upon you all. The Scottish Cockney, wow. Anyway. It's what happens when you're not good with accents. You start to fuse different accents in there. Okay, so common elemental weakness. Emerald Congolala, I believe that's ice. Purple Gypsaurus, fire. Kezu, fire. So I suppose we could use fire and be assured of the fact that we're at least, 2/3 of the way to being effective. Excuse me. What we doing? Actually, I may have had a weapon selected for me. Dual blades. So what, fire dual blades? I think I have 2 options for that, don't I? I don't think it's just the punishment blades, or the punishment... Yeah, that's what it's called, punishment blades. That actually is what I have. Okay, let's use those. Had to think about whether or not any of these monsters had a roar. Kezu does. Goodness gracious. I should mention that the only reason why I'm able to even begin to attempt a Scottish accent at the moment is because I have it in my mind. A few days ago I was watching a, you know, one of my true crime documentaries, and rather illegally. And the recording included an advertisement. Obviously the person was watching it on Scottish television, and there was an advertisement for a survey on Scottish railways. And the advertisement was something along the lines of, "You've got opinions. That's great. We'd love to hear them." And I'm like, fuck, that's on TV. Like, that's... that's like the standard Scottish accent, because they're not going to put someone with a super heavy accent or a super mild accent. They're going to put something, you know, a bit in between. And, yeah, I was like, that's awesome. I'd love to watch TV and just have that accent on the TV. That would be excellent. I like the Scottish accent. I, however, don't like it when it's very heavy and it doesn't even sound like they're speaking English anymore. It's actually impossible to interpret. I don't know if any of you have had the displeasure of hearing a Scottish accent, but when it's extremely heavy, but it is impossible to make out. It is just almost like any heavy accent, but particularly with a heavy Scottish accent, it is just a fusing. It is this absurd amalgamation of syllables into just... and you're just like, what are you on about? Articulate what you're saying. Enunciate. Pronounce what you're trying to get across, and it's just... it's impossible to make sense of. I suppose it's the same with Irish and Welsh when you get very heavy, but... good fucking god. No, I definitely won't give you my Irish accent. The very interesting thing is that a mild Irish accent, and I mean a really mild Irish accent, sounds like an American accent. And Americans don't even get that. I tell that to Americans and they sit there and they go, what? It's like they've never even considered it, but there's only one other accent in the world that pronounces their R's like they do. And I think their A's as well. And it's the Irish accent. That's where they get it from. And a mild Irish accent may just as well be a fucking American accent. So, and a much better one, in fact. It's very elongated, you know, the way they elongate the A vowel and overpronounce the R. Like, it's American. And strangely, Americans don't seem to understand their own accent. They think that maybe, along with the Constitution, God gave them their accent, you know. But no, like, it fucking came from Ireland. And what I don't understand is how the Irish accent came to have such an intense influence on the accent that now is the ubiquitous accent of America, the completely accepted accent. Yeah, I mean, Arexion, I can tell, is hearing this for the first time. It's strange to me. I think it's because... it's not the case with all Americans, but when they hear the Irish accent, they actually focus so much on what sounds different to what they're used to, but they don't focus on what sounds similar. And you see, what sounds similar is actually uniquely similar. Like, there's no other accent that sounds similar to American in terms of an accent in the way that the Irish accent sounds. Like, it's only that one. And also, very strangely, the South African accent and the New Zealand accent are uniquely similar to each other. Don't know if anyone ever picked up on that. I picked up on that some time ago. I find them both to be repulsive accents. I hate them. I truly hate them. Like, my least favourite accents are probably, well, I'm not too sure about the South African accent at this point, but I can tell you that the New Zealand accent makes me sick. Like, I hate it. It's just the idea that they just completely swap vowels around. You know, an I becomes an E, and vice versa. And pretty much every single vowel is just swapped around. I mean, that's terrible. I had it before at work. Someone asked me for a... Yeah, someone asked me, like a New Zealand person asked me for a pen. And she said, "Do you have a pen? Do you have a pen?" And I thought she was asking for a pen. Like, a pin, because that's what she fucking said. That's what came out of her mouth. P-I-N. But she meant P-E-N, because she's swapping her fucking vowels around with her repulsive accent. And I think what's so sad about it is that you can't control what you're brought up with in terms of an accent. You can't control it. But that's how this person speaks. And, you know, totally not a personal grievance. Has nothing to do with who they are, or what they are, or how they think. But to me, that accent is fucking shit. It's terrible. So, yeah, anyway. It's just funny to me when people listen to the New Zealand accent and they can't distinguish it from an Australian accent, which to me is absolutely shocking and shows just how deaf they are to the details of what an accent is, because, yeah, there are similarities between the New Zealand and Australian accent, but to not hear the fact that they're swapping vowels around is kind of like putting your fingers in your ears and going, la 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 la. I mean, what the fuck? Like, to swap vowels around is about as significant a change in an accent as you can fucking get. So the fact that people can't hear that, to me, is shocking beyond words. And the fact that people speak like that, to me, is also shocking beyond words. What I hate about it is that if you're from New Zealand and you speak like that, you inevitably take that opinion that I have, that I've just spoken, personally, because it's how you talk. But I'm sorry, it's like one of the worst accents on the face of the fucking planet. Like, it's just awful. And it grates on me to the extreme. When I hear it, I cringe. And I didn't even have a chance to cringe when I first heard it. I was too busy being confused, thinking they were saying something else. And most recently, like, I don't know, I just hadn't heard a New Zealand accent in years for some reason. And then earlier this week at work, someone asked me for a pen. And I thought they were asking me for a pin for about 2 to 3 seconds, and then, you know, as your mind does, it races through all the possibilities, and it's like, well, hold on, no, I'll hold on. If I think about how they structured their sentence prior to that point, I can realise that they were speaking in a New Zealand accent, therefore that means she meant pen, not pin. But I 100% thought it was a pin that she was after. It's just terrible. Absolutely terrible. Potato is currently baiting me into speaking in an Indian accent, which, if I were to do, it would offend the largest population of the world. So I won't do that. And may also extend into further South Asian language groups, so I shan't do it. Let's just say that I'm not infatuated with the Indian accent either. What's going on? What is this quest? It took us that long to kill the first monster? Well, I suppose it's okay. Because, to be fair, I was not at all paying attention to that confrontation. I may have been playing terribly. But more importantly, I'm using a weapon which was not really elementally effective against that monster, so now these other two monsters hopefully will die sooner because they are both weak to fire. So, even though it took so long this time, or rather, for the first monster to die, it should be okay, I hope. Yes, Potato, because they will have hacked me. If you want stereotypes, it's because they will have hacked me, okay? And I just had a potion stolen. It is dead. So I should mention that even when a Gypsyros is faking death, the paintball will remain pink. But when the paintball goes dark, that's how you know it's dead. So for any person who is fighting a Gypsyros and for whatever reason can't get their head around the fake death thing, they are always second guessing it. Throw a paintball. That's how you know. Next monster is Kezu, who will presumably spawn in the caves. So I think they're about right, going in the direction they are going. I should mention that this will be the last hunt. I've had a pretty good hunt. Pretty good hunting session, I should say. 3 hours and 14 minutes. Nothing to complain about there. And almost no downtime to edit out. I would say that I don't really need to do any editing at all. The only editing that I'll need to do is for the start of the live stream. I'll just set the start time probably like, I don't know, 10 minutes into the live stream on Twitch, and that'll do. It's the only editing required. For no reason whatsoever, I have a strong memory of Doom in a kilt. Sorry. Strong memory of Doom in a kilt. I wonder what would have sparked that memory. My family background is Manx, which is, you know, Celtic. This necklace that I wear, which I've always worn, for as long as I've ever been on camera, is, you know, the Manx Triskelion, which is, it appears on the flag of the Isle of Man, and yeah, and there's a Manx kilt. There are two colours. There's the traditional kilt, and there's also the hunting kilt. The standard one is blue, and the hunting kilt is brown. So, I don't know. Yeah. The Isle of Man is one of the Celtic nations, not a very well-known one. I suppose the Isle of Man and Cornwall are the two least known. I mean, how many people know about the Cornish language, for instance? The Manx and the Cornish languages are probably the least celebrated among the Gaelic languages. In fact, it was incredible. I managed to find someone, I think on Hunsterverse. Was it Hunsterverse? I think so. Who actually, his mother, like we just got talking, because he was from the UK, and we got talking because I think we were talking about national flags, and I said, oh, my national flag's this one, and I sent the Isle of Man flag, and he said, oh, are you Manx? And I'm like, well, my family is anyway. And he said, well, that's really interesting because my mum... Well, no, he didn't say that immediately, I think. But it came to be that his mum worked at Noble's Hospital, which is like the only hospital on the island, the only major hospital. It's an island, so very significant operations. Anything really serious, they just fly you to the mainland to get that done. Usually Liverpool, I think. But Noble's Hospital was like the major hospital on the island, and his mum worked there, which was so weird. And I just got talking to him, and yeah, it was just a really strange coincidence. But yeah, for a very brief moment I thought it was potato, and then I realized, oh no, that's what you would call wires being crossed in your memory. That was definitely not potato. But yeah. There's definitely someone in Hunsterverse. I remember chatting to him about it early 2021 or something like that. But yeah. I haven't been there since 2018. I'd love to go back, but it's fucking expensive. It's about as far away from Australia as you can possibly travel, and yeah, it's not a cheap venture. So went there in 2015 and 2018. So I have absolutely no doubt that I will return, but not for a little while yet, I don't think. It was not the other potato. I do remember that there were two potatoes at one time, but the other potato lasted for a short time, maybe 4 to 6 months, and then he was gone. You were always the original potato, because you were there before he was, and you were there for much longer. So, while I do vaguely remember there being a second potato, yeah, he did not stick around. Anyway, that's it for this live stream. I hope you all enjoyed. I am happy to be back in Freedom Unite once again. I will endeavour to record Freedom 1 if possible. You all know why I don't, and it's because it's hard to get a group to play with while live. That's why I record it infrequently. It has absolutely nothing to do with preference in terms of what game to play. We could technically call it preference when I say that I would rather play a game that I can get a consistent group with, but if it were under my control, I would play way more Freedom 1 than almost anything else that I'm playing, because that's a fun game to record. But yeah, no. I'll try. We'll see what I can do. See if I can make magic happen. But for now, I bid you all farewell, I thank you for watching, and I will see you when I'm next recording, which will hopefully be sooner rather than later. Maybe I'll give tomorrow a try. If tomorrow doesn't work, then it won't be until 2 days after that. But yeah, we'll see if I can do tomorrow. Which for you guys would probably be in about 12 hours time. If I record tomorrow, that's when it's going to be, 12 hours from now. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.